Welcome to ATCM, the Emergency Medicine channel. Today we are discussing about polycythemia. Polycythemia can present with acute thrombophlebitis, thrombosis, myocardial infarction, stroke, all these complications. So we'll see what is polycythemia and its complications. Polycythemia definition is increase of RBC number above normal range. We know that hemoglobin has got a range in men and woman. So above that range we can call it as polycythemia. But there are some diagnostic criteria for that. Increased hemoglobin more than 16.5 gram per deciliter in men or 16 gram deciliter in women. Increased hematocrit, that is very important, more than 49 in men and more than 48 in women. So these are the diagnostic criteria for polycythemia. But in acute hemoconcentrations conditions like dehydration and severe trauma, bleed and all, we can get similar picture, but that may not sustain. Next 1 or 2 days, if you repeat it, it will become normal. Now, if you see the classification, there are two types of polycythemia. One is relative polycythemia, another one is absolute polycythemia. Relative polycythemia is due to reduced plasma volume. This is one of the common conditions we see in emergency room, that patient come with dehydration, patient come with severe trauma, bleed, and all, we can get it. Dehydration and increased loss of blood, Gage-Box syndrome or phenomenon. Absolute polycythemia, this is due to increased red cell mass. Other one is reduced volume. Here actually the red cell mass is increasing. Again, this is subclassified into primary or polycythemia vera or secondary polycythemia. Primary is without any major cause. Secondary is secondary to many other conditions. Gage-Box syndrome or phenomena, it's a stress-induced polycythemia, stress or stress-induced erythrocytosis. It's a relative type of polycythemia. This mainly occurs in hard-working males, especially smokers. It's associated with systemic hypertension. So, anxiety patients with high BP can have polycythemia. This is a type of relative polycythemia. It's called as Gage-Box syndrome. Secondary polycythemia can be due to hypoxemia. Any cause for hypoxemia can induce the production of RBCs. So that the hypoxemia can be corrected by body. So hypoxemia can produce polycythemia. High altitude, chronic smoking, chronic pulmonary disease, COPD, chronic cardiac shunts like right-left shunts, renal diseases like renal carcinoma, renal cyst, hydronephrosis, tumors which produce erythropoietin-like substances, hepatoma, adrenal adenoma, pheochromocytoma, meningioma, cerebral hemangioblastoma, all can produce secondary polycythemia. Now we will see what is primary polycythemia or polycythemia vera. Without any major cause or genetical cause can produce polycythemia. It's a myeloproliferative neoplasm-like syndrome which are characterized by clonal proliferation of myeloid cells with variable morphologic maturity and hematopoietic efficiency. Polycythemia vera is different clinically from other myeloproliferative disorders by the presence of an elevated RBC mass. Other myeloproliferative disorders, RBC is not increased, other cells are increased. It presents with accumulation of phenotypically normal RBCs. So there is no abnormal RBCs, there are only normal RBCs and granulocytes and platelets in absence of recognizable physiological stimulus, like patient is having chronic smoking history or COPD, that will not be there in primary polycythemia. There is a mutation that is called as exon 14 mutation of the JAK2 gene. This is very important for primary polycythemia. In multiple studies, 95 to 97% of polycythemia vera patients have V617F mutation in exon 14 of JAK2 gene. This JAK2 is Janus kinase 2, which is not seen in normal persons and those with secondary polycythemia. This mutation, when present, enables one to distinguish patients with polycythemia vera from those with secondary polycythemia. So, primary polycythemia, exon 4 mutation of JAK2 gene is present, whereas secondary polycythemia, this is not there. Now, we will see the clinical features of polycythemia: injection of conjunctival, small vessels, engorgement of veins in the optic fundus, itching, headache, epistaxis, vasomotor symptoms like erythromelalgia, pruritus all around the body, especially after a warm bath. That is very, very important. Erythromelalgia or burning pain in the feet and hands associated by erythema, pallor, cyanosis with presence of palpable pulse. Some conditions you can get similar finding, but pulse may be reduced. That is due to obstruction of blood vessels. Here pulse is there, but patient is having cyanosis, pallor, erythema and severe itching. Facial plethora or ruddy cyanosis. Neurological symptoms like vertigo, tinnitus, headache, visual disturbances, stroke-like features. Hypertension is another important feature. Venous or arterial thrombus. Patient can have stroke, myocardial infarction, peripheral vascular disorders. Transient visual losses like any other stroke. Hyperuricemia secondary gout can occur. Acid peptic disease, peptic ulcers, splenomegaly, all these things are clinical features of polycythemia and polycythemia vera. Now we will see the investigation. We can see elevated hemoglobin and hematocrit. Hemoglobin is more than 16 gram per deciliter. Hematocrit will be more than 48 or 49%. Normal arterial oxygen saturation. There is no hypoxemia, but the patient will be having a cyanotic type of look. Leukocytosis, thrombocytosis can be seen in some patients. Bone marrow biopsy demonstrate hypercellularity and trilineage growth. All three cells may be elevated. Prominent RBCs, granulocytic and megakaryocyte proliferation. Normal erythropoietin level, that is very important. Patients who is having secondary polycythemia, because of the stimulus hypoxemia, erythropoietin levels can be elevated. But here in primary polycythemia, normal erythropoietin and elevated plasma erythropoietin level suggest a hypoxemic conditions. That is very, very important. So whenever we see a polycythemia, if you test erythropoietin in secondary polycythemia, it can be elevated. Primary polycythemia, it is normal. We can see here a flow chart for the evaluation. Elevated hemoglobin, suspected polycythemia vera. Normally we go for JAK2 mutation test. If it is positive polycythemia vera, negative, you have to further evaluate the patient to find out whether it is there or not. So that is very important. JAK2 mutation is very, very important. Now management is very important in this type of patients. When the patient come to emergency room, we have to take care of his airway, breathing, circulation. And the most important treatment in polycythemia vera is dilution of the blood. That is very important. Supplemental oxygen can be given. Low flow continuous oxygen may improve the erythrocytosis in patients with chronic lung disease. So that is very important. Somebody is having chronic lung disease, we can give oxygenation, correct the oxygenation so that the blood, the stimulus for the blood production will be reduced. Avoid diuretics. This is very important. Normally in patients who is having COPD with RV failure, doctors try to treat with Lasix. That should not be done here because patient is the dehydration can aggravate the problem in polycythemia. Weight reduction can be helpful in patients with obesity or hyperventilation induced COPD like induced polycythemia, secondary polycythemia. If there is a erythropoietin producing tumor in the kidney, that should be removed. Correction of underlying renal disease also can be done if the patient is having renal problem. Now, if there is increased amount of RBCs in the blood, it should be removed. Periodic phlebotomies can be done every 3 months. It can be done. It can reduce the number of RBCs. 1 unit of blood, around 300 to 500 ml, is removed weekly until the hematocrit is less than 45%. That is very important. That can be done. A diet which has got low iron during this phlebotomy period is also helpful. Maintain the hemoglobin around 14 gram percent in males and 12 gram percent in females. Now, for erythromelalgia, aspirin 100 milligram daily and antihistamines can be given. All patients who is having polycythemia, better to put the patient on aspirin because there is a high chance of thrombus formation. For thrombocytosis, hydroxyurea can be given, anagrelide can be given, interferon alpha also can be given. So, these are the drugs can be used for thrombocytosis. Another drugs which can be given in polycythemia is ruxolitinib 20 milligram BD can be given for these patients, and elevated uric acid, febuxostat or allopurinol can be given. So, that can reduce the uric acid. So, polycythemia vera is a very important condition where primary thrombosis can occur due to high RBC count. When this type of patients come to emergency room, we have to treat with fluids, try to dilute the blood so that the thrombus can be avoided, and remove the blood. The frequent or periodic phlebotomies can help to reduce the blood, the RBC amount in the blood. Thank you.